Yes, everybody, it's that time of the week again, bitch. Welcome back to another saucy episode of Old School, New School Comedy Podcast, and I am your host, Christy Miller. And with me this week is a very sweet girl, funny comedian that I've met through the chambers of comedy. I was actually just on her podcast last week called Alien Murder Sex on Gas Digital. It's hilarious. She's wonderful. You could also, she's a regular at Skankfest. If you know about Skankfest, it's a great festival of all degenerates every year. So that's produced by Gas Digital and Louis J. Gomez and all the rest of the degenerates that we love. And I'm just really happy to have her on the show because it was so much fun doing her show. So I want to introduce everybody to Lauryn Petrie.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
Hey, hi. Yep, that's me. It's me, the bringer of darkness.
The darkness.
One of them. There's a
Hello,
few.
darkness, my old friend.
New friend. New darkness every day.
So what's happening, girl? So tell me about you have such an interesting story because back in COVID, we all went through a lot during COVID, during those dark years of 2020. And I sat at my computer learning how to do all this shit because I'm 150 years old. So I taught myself how to do more than just send an email.
Which a lot of people just got paid to do during COVID.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
So this girl actually stepped up and put her skills to use and got a job in a morgue helping, do autopsies on COVID patients and other people that have floated into the morgue during that time. And tell me, how did that happen?
My God. So first off, I really wish I could have done what you did and learned something useful because autopsy is just a really niche skill to learn. You're not going to put that on your resume and get a job everywhere.
But you know what? You're really, really welcome at everybody's Thanksgiving. Anyway, get it? Carve the turkey. Forget it. These people are slow.
I'm really, really good with a knife.
Yes, you are.
You
really are. You have skill.
But it was crazy because it wasn't something I ever dreamed of or wanted to do despite me being a goth person. I'm not scared of dead bodies. I think looking at dead bodies is fun, whatever. I used to do it for fun when I was on meth, crime scene photos.
We'll be right back.
That's how you trauma bond with somebody. You just stare at crime scene photos for a whole summer. But what happened is I couldn't get the enhanced unemployment. My previous job, I'd been a 1099 worker and I had to pay rent. And guess who was hiring? The morgue.
Yeah.
They were busy.
I almost took that job just for some extra cash.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I almost did it. And because I still train clients in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
I train a couple, I train like 7-8 hours a week. That's it. So I have the freedom to still, live my life. And a lot of my clients were in their 80s and 70s. So I didn't take it because I didn't want the exposure to the disease, which I ended up getting anyway because I exposed myself to people, to live bodies. Who knew that was going to be a niche?
The live people are worse than the dead ones, I'll say that.
Live people are disgusting.
They're disgusting. I got COVID 6 times, so,
Wow.
I'm fine. I don't have any memory I think I do have some memory problems. But,
dude, it took me 2 years to recover from COVID.
Oh, wow.
2 fucking years. It was literally just under, maybe a month under 2 years. It took me. It was the strength was gone, my lung capacity was gone, my memory was gone. And still sometimes, it's a lot better now, fine, but it's still my endurance is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
My strength was gone, so I had to rebuild from scratch. So I haven't hit my numbers yet, but I'm getting close in the gym.
You saw a really distinct difference from having COVID.
Oh,
wow.
Night and day.
Well, I just blame it on all the drugs I used to do, but
it probably killed it, and who knew?
Yeah. Man, working in the morgue changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my perspective of humanity. It changed my perspective of city agencies. They sent me a cease and desist letter about my jokes.
Are you serious?
Oh, we can get into that.
Oh my God.
There's a whole legal aspect, which was great because they said, we're very concerned about your jokes about the morgue. And I was like, my mom's concerned too. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't violating HIPAA. I wasn't using names. I don't remember their names. It was 17 dead people a day. I don't know your name.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like decomp number 2 with the fucking oil coming out of his skin and the bubbles. Like, I don't know who that is. It's a post-human. It's not a human.
Yeah, and it's like, who cares? Like, I'm not trying to learn anybody's names. Hi, Jack. How are you? You're dead? It's good to see you here.
The only, like, I don't remember. I would look people up on social media, like, before their families scrubbed it. There would be, like, really interesting deaths. Like a girl who was climbing a fire escape that fell off, like just going to a party, like sad stuff. And I would look them up and I'd see where they worked. And I'd find out if we had mutuals. I'd look up, there was a guy that worked for the CIA. There was somebody from the UN that had a fake, I think it was a fake suicide with a plastic bag over her head. Who was an interpreter.
Oh, that old gag with the plastic bag. So no one does that anymore. We use ties. Yeah. We use belts on the door handle. We just totally Kate Spade it.
I was going to say.
We don't fucking plastic bag it. Okay?
Scarf. Use a scarf, a silk scarf. Make
Honey,
it classy.
I use a Karl Lagerfeld scarf, darling.
Nobody
does the plastic bag unless you're getting whacked.
I think she got whacked.
Yeah, she did.
I said she. Oh, well. Oh, come on, Morgue. Come get me.
They, them.
Yeah, they're all theys.
So, yeah, I was just saying that's the morgue's pronouns are they.
You're all a they, afterlife. But it was crazy. The first job I had was 3 months. So I worked in Kings County Hospital for 3 months just putting bodies in trucks.
Perfect.
And then after that, they hired me at the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, and I was in the autopsy suite. And I was like, really? I have no medical degree. I have nothing. They're like, yeah, just make the wine incision. You'll learn. Just do it. These doctors are rushing you, and you're like,
because it was such an insane time, and they couldn't keep up. So,
and here's the thing:
wow.
I wasn't doing COVID patients because they stopped doing autopsies on people with COVID, because they're like, all we need is a tox. We know they had COVID. This is everyone that was just suiciding and ODing.
Yeah,
it was
a lot of that.
It was so sad and so busy and just constant. And then we finally started getting homicides again when we knew New York was healing.
Yes. Come on, girl. Come on, death. Come on, murder. Get it, girl.
Yeah.
Miss Murder Darlings in the house.
We were like, New York is back. We got a homicide. Like, this is great. Really, it was like that.
I know when during when the crazy people, the mentally ill, whatever you want to call them, the poor people out in the streets that can't function because they have, then there's no resources for them to help because, we can't do that. They have a right to exist.
Oh, they don't. You. Not in America.
Well, not anymore.
No.
But they were pushing people in front of the trains.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yes, Miss New York, come back, mama.
I mean, it was just
it's a crazy time, and we're still healing from it. We're still coming out of it. There's still a lot of PTSD. There's a lot of healing. People have to let go of a lot of anger, and until people can let that go and just, okay, that was a time, but now is now. And we got to make now better so we can make our future better. But no, they're hanging on to anger, and then they're doing stupid shit like, November 6th.
I think that New York has an amnesia problem about COVID.
Well, people in general, because they did a scientific study. I know some people hate science because it's real, whatevs. But the
Earth is flat, Christy.
I know. No, my chest is flat. But there was a scientific study done because of all the Instagram reels and TikTok reels of 30 seconds and 1 minute, the quick reels was literally rewiring brains for short-term memory, and long-term memory is a thing of the past because nobody sits down and reads a book anymore. Nobody sits and watches a movie, and nobody watches episodic shows on TV and waits for the next week for the next episode. They binge the entire fucking thing in once on Netflix.
It's called neuroplasticity, and it's being completely fucked.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm against it. I think it's sad. It's not that I'm against it, but it's
I'm against it.
It's pathetic that we've become this piece of shit. And
it's about making content. It has to be 20 seconds.
But then it's and I started laughing because now TikTok goes to 10-minute videos, and Instagram there's a way to put on a reel if you go in from your profile to make your reels longer than 1.5 minutes. And shorts are now up to 10 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever. They're starting to expand. Yeah, because we have no attention spans anymore. We need to put more long form content out there for people to slow down and absorb the process and absorb the information and actually process it like a human being with a rational, logical mind, as opposed to knee-jerk react quick 30 seconds. And it's like, we are in total amnesia because look what we just did.
Yeah. It's that, I mean, I hate, as somebody that's in entertainment, being forced to make content constantly. Yeah. And it has to be short and has to be this. It's like, I don't have that much interesting shit to say in 30 seconds every day.
I don't like me every day. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to hear me. I hear me on stage. And then when I'm done, especially when I'm headlining and I'm doing an hour or so, I get done. I'm like, I don't even want to hear myself talk. I'm done.
I will listen to my sets to learn. I hate my voice. You have
a great voice, though.
Oh, thank you.
See, I hate my voice. I think it sounds too garbled and too deep.
I think you have a very sexy voice.
Really?
Yeah.
You know who has the best voice? Is my best friend, Gina Savage.
Sexy voice.
She has the sexiest voice on mic. Like, I go, I hate you. I love your voice.
Hey, hi, Christy. What's going on?
She has that deep, raspy. Like, sometimes I sound Brenda Vaccaro for Playtex tampons, you know? And sometimes I'm just like, Jabba the Hutt, whatever.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, I mean,
I'm the fat slug.
You're not a fat slug. You sound like, I thought you're from New York because you sound like such a fucking New Yorker.
Well, as a kid, now here's that background. In San Francisco, where I grew up, in the suburbs and all around it, there's a strong Brooklyn, North Beach attitude that I never heard, because in California, we're all just people. We're just people. We're all the same, until somebody fucks up, and then they're just like pointing out everything about you, that white trash, whatever. It's hilarious, but we're just people. So I never knew accents. I never knew nationalities. I knew black, white, and Asian.
I grew up in Texas.
So you knew everything.
My mom is from South Africa.
Right.
So inside the house, it was like, yes, tomato, like, everything was very proper. And then outside, hey, y'all, we're going to a barbecue. What's going on? But it was awesome. So it was like California, Texas, like that.
Yeah,
like
it's the liberal city.
All that shit. Like, we're all Valley girls, but in Texas. And so I didn't know how to fucking talk.
Yeah. So, like, growing up, everybody, talk like Valley girl. So, when we talk, we put the accent on the last syllable.
Everything is a question when it's not.
Yeah, and the accent goes up, and everybody was Valley. Because I'm a lot older than you. I'm 54. Frank Zappa was big when I was a kid. And, the song Valley Girl was the hugest song on the planet. And Moon Zappa, his daughter, was like, oh my God, for sure, totally. So that became the lingo in California. And it was very Encino, okay? You didn't fucking gotta. It was all that. And then the 90s with Britney Spears, everybody sounded like Britney Spears in Long Island. Oh my God.
It's vocal fry hell.
It's just like, so I never understood. I never knew there were accents, because California, it was just kind of
like seasons. They don't have that either.
Yeah, we don't have anything. We have mudslides, fires, floods, and hot. Yeah. So when it's mudslide season, we know it's winter. when it's like wildfires, we know it's summer.
Sure.
And then allergies, spring and fall. You know, there was times in California we had to wear masks outside because the air content was so bad from all the fires. I mean, it would just cover your car, and you would just cough up shit because of the air was so thick and stunk so bad, and it's crazy. And so I never understood accents or anything until I moved to Los Angeles. And then, everything in Los Angeles is pretty segregated, because everything, because where New York is tall, Los Angeles is spread out.
Big strip mall, right?
Yeah, it's a huge, giant suburb. So everybody has their areas. They all gravitate towards their little areas or whatever. So I was going to church, because, I'm a good Catholic
She's
girl.
a good girl, guys, actually.
But St. Victor's was amazing. Monsignor Murphy they're all off the boat Irish. So they're all educated. He majored in history, in world history. So his homilies would be like history lessons. And I would just sit there and listen to him. And he was incredibly brilliant and so chill. And they were very involved in the gay community, because they were right in the heart of West Hollywood.
This is the only way I think I could listen to anything.
Yeah, and they were so progressive. And Sister Angela, she's like, oh, we don't do that Mel Gibson crap over here.
That's nice.
That's too sad. That's 60s shit. We don't do that. We're very progressive. God's children is everywhere. They were so amazing. We were Eucharistic ministers to AIDS patients. We did a lot for the community, and they really gave back so much, because they got it. They understood the whole teachings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was brilliant. So and then I became an altar server because how cool. Like this was like a really cool place. And I was going through a lot in my life. So I became an altar server thinking, maybe I'll get some clarity on what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this one guy who was from the Bay Area, he lived there for like 19 years, him and his wife, he came back to LA and he was an older dude. And he goes, and I was moving to New York. And he goes, so you're moving back to New York? And I said, no, I'm not from there. I'm from here.
Thought you were from New York.
Yeah. And he goes, well, you have such a thick accent. I said, no, I don't. He goes, well, where are you from? I go, San Francisco. He goes, that explains it. He goes, North Beach, Italian. I said, yeah, well, my grandparents lived there, Grandma Eileen and Grandpa Fred, which were Italian. They weren't by blood, but they were like, that woman is a reason I'm born, because my mom was going to have an abortion because my father was cheating on her and they were going through a divorce. She got pregnant to save the marriage. It failed. And then here I am. So Grandma Eileen, on the way to the doctor, her doctor told her in 1970, Shirley, you cannot have this baby. You're going through a divorce. It's you can't be a single mother. It's not, you know what I mean? Like back then it was unheard of.
Right.
1970. So my mom, he goes, I think you have 2 other kids. You should not have this one. So my mom listened to him and said, you're probably right. She was stressed out. My mother was my mother was a badass. So she was on her way to the doctor at St. Luke's in San Francisco, and she stopped by Grandma Eileen's on the way, and they were having coffee, and she said, Shirley, she's like, if you have this baby, I will raise it. Give it to me. Wow. I will raise it. And don't worry about it. You can't have an abortion. This baby's a gift from God, because she's old school Catholic. That we have to have her on this planet. So my Grandma Eileen raised me for the first few years because my mom worked so much because of all the shit she was going through. And then, and so I would spend many nights at Grandma Eileen and Grandpa Fred's watching Johnny Carson, watching Yankee games. I don't know. I'm a kid. What the fuck do I know? And she would make spinach pasta and her sauce. And so we used to call it funny spaghetti. And her mom, Grandma Kitty, great Grandma Kitty, 96, smoking Camel Strays, playing solitaire, drinking whiskey out of a coffee cup at the dining in the breakfast nook. And I would just sit there and stare at her. I was obsessed with great Grandma Kitty. So it was like I was raised by these people, so I didn't understand until he pointed it out. And I went, oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Never dawned on me. So my whole life, they're like, what are you, from Jersey or are you from Brooklyn? I said, I'm from San Francisco.
Sounds like a Jersey or a Brooklyn upbringing.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah. But that's why I always thought you're from New York.
Yeah. Everybody did. Everybody's like, oh, she's back in New York? Bitch, I never was from here. I'm just an asshole. That's all I am.
You're just fucking tough. It's
been through a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we've both been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's not about being rude. It's just, time is money and fucking you got
I don't sweat the small stuff. I don't waste time on bullshit. Listen, this is my motto in life. And a friend of mine, my friend Tom Eshelman, he did the podcast months and months ago. He's hilarious. He goes, you need to get that stitched on a pillow. And I said, I live by 4 basics. If it doesn't pay my rent, put food on my table, clothes on my back, or eat my pussy, no power over me.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, and it just sums it up. And it's like, don't give stupid shit power in your life.
I need to work on that.
You have to.
I do.
It's life lesson. Just you can't sweat the small shit, because that's how anxiety's living in the future. Depression's living in the past. That's why they call it a present, because it's the gift that you're living in.
Stop it. I'm in church right now.
I know. Jesus.
I need this.
Church, it's Christianity.
It's Christianity.
Anyway.
No, I get validation from the wrong things. I need to stop that.
Yeah. You gotta treat yourself the way you want the world to treat you. I treat myself like a princess. I work out. I eat healthy. You still get
punched on the subway, though.
Well, that was 5-6 years ago.
That's not like a continual thing.
No, I mean, it was just some freak accident in 2019. It happened, and it is what it is. At least I got, in 20 years, that's the only time I got hit.
That's a good percentage.
That's a great percentage. And people focus on the one little thing, and I'm like, look at the big picture. Stop focusing on dumb shit. Who cares? I'm not afraid of it anymore. You had a little PTSD at first, but who doesn't? Yeah. And then you get over it. And then you work through it and you get over it. Now I'm fine, It's just, it is. And now for me, it's another chapter for the book. That's the way I look at it.
Every bad thing that happens is
another chapter for the book, or another bit, another closing bit. Just look at it that way. And you got to stay positive. life is great, and I'm having a blast in this life.
You have to laugh. I remember when I was homeless, and I called my dad, and I was crying, and I was like, why? Or it was right after I was homeless. Why didn't you come get me I was living under a bridge. Why didn't you come save me?
Under the bridge downtown.
That's where I smoked a lot.
I'll be right back.
and he said, well, you wrestled in high school. I knew you were gonna be fine. And I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really funny.
That's a great bit, though.
I mean,
well, you wrestled in high school.
I mean, you're tough, right? And then, he taught me how to swim by taking boulders from the bottom of the lake and making me hold them and jump in and go to the bottom, Okay, I'm fine. This is wilderness parenting.
Who is your father, Jason from Friday the 13th?
He has autism. That's my dad.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Mental health.
Yeah.
Mentally challenged.
Empathy challenged.
Ugh.
Computer genius empathy challenged.
Yeah, autistic people make the best sports agents.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, because they
numbers.
don't. Yeah, it's numbers, and they don't know when to stop. They just push and push and push till they get what they want.
Yeah.
Like I want to start an autistic acting agency for comics and stuff, and just have the autistic people just get us gigs because they are the greatest at negotiating because they don't back down
and they don't get emotional.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they lack that thing that we have.
Subtext.
Yeah.
Nuance. Social cues.
Yes.
All of it, which gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah. So in business, for sure, because business isn't personal.
People are slimy, and like really good salesperson will be a narcissist, someone that's like great at reading people, can just get in there. And
sociopath are the best.
Well, usually narcissists are sociopaths.
Well, it's sociopath light. It's like a Diet Coke.
Yes.
It's still bad for you, but it's not as full of sugar. Or shit, or whatever.
Doesn't feel as good.
Whatever. But it also helps with stand-up. Navigating this crazy industry that we're in, especially being women. And people don't understand everywhere across the board. Like, I was in fitness for a lot of years. So watching, female bodybuilders versus the male bodybuilders is a whole different ball game. And I've watched a lot of my friends that were female bodybuilders getting their pro cards. The rules were different for them than they were for the men. With the men, the rules are straight across. Every show doesn't matter. But for the women, the rules change per show.
Why?
Because of the federation, because of the coaches that are running it. And if you're affiliated with a certain coach, or you're fucking your coach or something like that, you will get your pro card. If you're not and you're in it alone, you are iced out.
So the men need to fuck their coaches to make it equal.
They should.
Let's just level the playing field. Everyone fuck everybody, okay?
Everybody has to fuck.
Everybody, you have to be a slut. If you're going to be a bodybuilder, you have to be a slut.
Yeah, well, and then once they get their pro card, oh, hey, we want you to model because you're a pro bodybuilder. So you got your pro card. So it starts off with lingerie. And then it goes into soft porn, and then they get into porn. And that's how they get them. And every one of them, every girl I knew quit after they got their pro card because they saw where it was going, and they're like, nope, I'm done. This is where I draw the line.
Christy, I never knew there was a bodybuilding to porn pipeline.
Yeah.
That is,
it's in the female bodybuilding industry.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I did OnlyFans because I was broke, but like...
I did OnlyFan because...
I had like 4,
Thanks,
actually.
Mom. Anyway.
It was like 4 guys that paid my rent for a few months.
You know what?
Whatever.
At this point, I don't begrudge anybody.
Sure.
It's a hard fucking life. If you do what you got to do and make it work for you, don't let it work you.
Oh, I hated it. I stopped. Yeah.
Of course. But you did it for what you needed it, and then you were done because you made it work for you.
For that time period.
Yeah. If you get sucked into it and it just draws you in and destroys you, then it worked you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, drugs worked me. I mean, I webcammed back. I got fired from stripping for being too fat, which is hilarious.
What?
From the same club twice.
What?
In Idaho. And
in Idaho?
In Idaho. Yeah.
Ugh.
And yeah, I know.
Okay.
And then I would start webcamming after that. And boy, that's a weird job.
I couldn't. God bless you. People think stand-up's hard.
I mean, that was before I started. I think stripping inspired me to do stand-up.
I was just going to ask you, how did you get into stand-up from all that other shit you went through?
So
what made you do it?
I always was a huge stand-up fan, and then
Sure.
this is just a fucking Joe Rogan answer. I smoked DMT, Christy.
What is that?
Dimethyltryptamine. It's ayahuasca light, And I had this fucking
ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca is like you do like a 4-day vision quest that tribes in the Amazon.
Oh yes,
do it.
I've heard that. That sounds creepy.
So I did DMT, and I had this complete out of body spiritual experience where I went out of the earth and I went to outer space, and I felt what I felt would be the equivalent to God. I felt like this love.
Sure.
And what was said to me was that this is all a game. You're here for a limited time. It's a game. It's a school. And if you could not fail, what would you do? And I came out of that and I said, I'm going to be a stand-up comic. And I just started writing, and I started going to mics. And
good for you.
My like third mic, I got taken out on the road, and I started doing road work all over the Pacific Northwest for like 3 years.
Who took you on the road?
Belinda Carroll. She's a big LGBTQ comedian.
I've heard of her.
And
definitely.
Christine Levine took me out on the road.
Okay.
And that's how I started. I started doing festivals, and at the time I didn't have to work because I had been doing illegal drug trafficking across the country.
We'll be right back on the next Oprah. What the fuck? What is this? Phil Donahue meets Dr. Phil meets Oprah.
My life is an after-school special.
It really is.
But it's ended up okay.
An after-school adult daycare special.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I really am fine.
I was gonna call my first album. Maybe I'm gonna call it After-School Special. It crossed my mind.
Well, be careful because Tammy Pescatelli has a special called After-School Special.
Not
the
doing
Way
that.
After-School Special. So we'll get your.
We'll figure
title.
something out morgue related.
Because my first album that I did a couple years ago, Brutally Yours, on
Brutally
iTunes.
Yours on iTunes and Amazon and everywhere.
See, I taught her how to do it.
Check it out.
Yeah. So when I did my album, I was going to call it Christianity because I came up with that name when I was like 12.
Right.
Because when I was 12, I experimented with all different religions to find out what's the deal. What's up with these religions?
Good for you. Good for you, because most people that are just raised with the religion just go with it.
Yeah, because I was in California, so I was surrounded by Buddhists and Baptists and Lutheran and Episcopalian and, Muslim and this and that, everything possible. So I'm like, well, she's so excited about her church. Yeah. I'm going to go and see what makes her happy.
That's cool.
So I did all these religions. I practiced everything, and
you
then
did the tour.
I took the religion tour. I worked all the churches and
dated them all.
Totally slept with all of them.
Yep. But only one makes you come.
Yeah. And that's Christianity. But I figured it out because I'm like, well, everything's based on the Bible. I was a pretty smart kid, which is really weird.
You're very smart.
Am I though?
Yeah, you are smart.
It's just that I was like, okay, if everything's based on the Bible, what is their interpretation versus Catholic interpretation? Because I'd go to church with my aunt and uncle and cousins every Sunday. And my mom was like out of the church because, she had a divorce and she was going through bullshit, and she left the Catholic church when she was young. And my cousins all went to Catholic school. My mom put us in public school because she couldn't afford Catholic school. And the Catholic schools in California sucked, she said. She's like, they're not good like the East Coast. And you know what? You're going to public school, and that's the end of it, which I'm very glad I did because I didn't have to go through that, because my mom told me horror stories of nuns beating her with a ruler because she was left-handed in the 40s. She's born in 1938, so if the left hand, they would smash her knuckles with a ruler, so she taught herself how to write with her right hand. And when she saw me working as a kid in kindergarten with my left hand, I was coloring, she stopped me, she goes, "You're left-handed?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess." Like, I didn't know. I'm fucking fine, dude. What the fuck do I know?
The most self-aware 5-year-old ever.
My best self-aware. Yes. I said, "Yes, Mom, I'm a southpaw because that goes against all the grain."
I chose this.
And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just easy." She goes, "Why?" I go, "It's just easier to hold because they would give me scissors and I would hold them like this because I couldn't use my right hand. Just didn't make sense to me." And Mrs. Stuckey, Mrs. Stuckey was my kindergarten teacher. This big old fat white lady who was just delicious. Like, we'd go to her house for dinner. She was amazing. Even after I left kindergarten, I was in 1st and 2nd grade, because she was very close to the kids. She was like a nonna to us kids. So she would bring me left-handed scissors because it had the green rubber on them. And she would bring them to me so I could do this. She never questioned anything. And my mom asked, she goes, are they giving you a hard time in school? I said, "No, Mrs. Stuckey gives me green scissors to make it easy."
Not getting beat like you.
And so she's like, "Oh, thank God," and so, but it was like, it's stuff like that. Like, so she's like, "Yeah, no, not doing it." But so then your
mom had a harder life.
She had a very hard life.
And she got abused growing up.
Yes.
So you didn't. And so, I mean, she broke the cycle.
She totally broke the cycle.
That's great.
But she also gave us free reign to figure shit out and trusted us enough. And when we broke her trust, then she'd pull the reins in, but she wanted us to learn the hard way because that was the best teacher. Plus she was working 2 jobs and went to school while we were kids too. So we had to be latchkey kids. So
I was a latchkey kid.
But you know what? All that greatness, all that dysfunction makes the best stand-up comics. Because if life was perfect, what would you talk about? My hair was like staticky yesterday, and I was like, what's that about?
Have you been out to the clubs? Anyway, I really wonder if I hadn't been beat, would I be into BDSM? I mean, did it inform my sexual appetites in some way? Like the abuse? I think it did.
Yeah, and because it's like you're looking for approval, and you think getting beat is love.
And there's things that I love sexually.
Getting beat is love.
Hit me. I mean, when you're a kid, you think that if your person that is supposed to love you is the one hitting you.
So back to comedy.
Sorry, what about? But anyway, yeah. I mean, people that do very bland comedy. Sometimes I watch them and I just think, what you need some trauma. Sometimes can we make a service where we pay to have people that do boring comedy about Tinder to like give them some trauma? Like we can destroy your life in 6 months. We're gonna destroy your car payment and break up with your boyfriend for you, and get you evicted, make you homeless, and then you'll have some material.
Okay, now here's my take on that bland beige comedy, because I call it beige comedy. Is that they're so repressed and so afraid of what other people think that they try to tone it down and beige it up, because beige is a mutable color. It goes with everything. It's the background. It doesn't offend. It doesn't stand out.
More palatable.
It just blends in with the background. So to me, that is more repression and not dealing with what's really underneath, like not peeling layers down to see what's under there. When it's like, so what's up with these airline people? I mean, hey, it's all that. To me, it's repression and not facing or dealing or feeling anything that you've been through. Because no one had a perfect childhood. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody. So to me, that's what it is. It's repression. Because 2 years ago, I was booked for a swingers cruise to do stand-up.
Told me about that.
And talk about repressed. And this is how they get out their repression.
They let it go.
Fuck the entire country at the same time.
On a boat. Everything's legal on a boat.
Yeah. Das Boot.
Das Boot.
I'm going to put it in your Das Boot.
You better. That's interesting. I mean, that psychologically, because I guess, even though my mom was abusive, at least she was open about like sex and who you are as a person. And she was always very like non-repressed. I at least can take that from her as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Because
it's huge. Yeah. It's when you hide shit from kids. It's when you coddle them. It's when you try to protect them. Don't let the evil world touch them. You have just handicapped that child for the rest of his life. That kid has no tools to go out into the world and problem solve and figure shit out on his own.
Yeah, when you make everything forbidden, everything's forbidden.
Everything's bad.
And then,
so stay away
it's
from
this
it.
puritanical thing, and then you get a country where everything is getting repressed, and these.
Well, and then they go out in the public, and then someone says boo, and they're like, I'm triggered. Oh my god, I'm gonna sue you. I'm calling HR.
There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Comedy, it's hard right now, and then nobody knows what's okay to say, what isn't okay to say. I have this pedophile joke I love to do, and it's not, that pedophiles are
good. Hi, Matt Gates. Anyway.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's that pedophiles are
the pearly
bad.
Gates.
but it's this.
Sorry. That was for me.
No, he's a fucking pedophile.
Anyway, so tell me.
Like
do the joke. Do the joke here.
Yeah. Really? Just do the joke? Is that cool? Okay. Yeah.
Honey, this is old school, new school comedy. This is where everything goes, because this is where we come to talk about comedy and what's happening in comedy and what were our experiences in comedy.
So this will split the whole room.
Perfect.
And half the people love it, half the people hate it. I'll be like, and you guys, I've been on.
And tell us on the comments what you think of this joke.
Okay, so I'm interested. Well, I got two that split the room. This one I say, so you guys, I love going on Reddit and going down internet rabbit holes. You guys like Reddit? My favorite thing to read about is organized pedophile rings. And the first thing that I start thinking of is, you guys, what about the disorganized pedophile rings? What do they do? Do they just lose the kids? Does the FBI come?
They go to Congress.
And then there's a whole other part, like if it's going well, that I'll do where I'm like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's hard work, because children are impossible to work with. Like,
Good night.
I babysit. I can't make that kid put food in his mouth.
That's cute. I
I
think those are cute jokes.
And I'll let it hang, you know.
Yeah, you let it hang. But some people, you see, like what I noticed, like even on just Saturday night, I was at the Laugh Tour in Jersey City, which is one of my favorite clubs to play. It's owned by Rich Kiyonko, who's a super funny comic, and he's amazing, and he's the girl, big queen. I live for her, and she has such a successful room out there. And it's Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Thursdays 1 show, Friday, Saturdays there's 2 shows. Fun, and they're always sold out, and such a fun room. And I make a joke about being 54 and still getting my period. And I said, I'm supposed to be in menopause now. Like, this should be my sexual heyday.
Yeah.
You know, I could be able to raw dog this entire room in Alabama, not near a staircase.
And don't have to, exactly.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about the abortion.
I go, well, at least until January 20th. And they went, oh. And I'm like, really?
Come on.
Really? Are we going to ooh that one?
Everyone's going to be rolling down staircases. I could charge $20 at the Joker steps, you know, for abortions coming up.
Yeah.
Like, we could just stand there.
Done while you wait.
Yeah, exactly. They should just put more steps in front of the Planned
Parenthood.
Parenthood.
My mother used to tell me stories when she was a kid, when it was outlawed, you know, because it didn't come into law until 1970 or 71. So when she was a kid growing up, they had, you know, what they called backyard abortions. Mm-hmm. And, you know,
it's not like backyard wrestling. There's no glass and chairs.
There's no backyard blonde bitches brawling, you know? Have you ever seen those backyard bitches brawling videos? Hilarious. But that's so white trash. And I live. Anyway, but she would tell me horror stories, like one of her friends, they, you know, to get up there, it's really coat hangers. That's where the joke comes from. And it's like her friend bled to death and died.
Yeah. Because
someone had a little like trailer thing set up in an alley, and she went to get one because she was a kid, and you know, you can't, you know, whatever. And I didn't ask my mother the whole story, but she said her friend died because she bled to death. Yeah. And she died, and she was 14. So it's like, are we doing this again?
We are doing this again.
Okay.
It's real.
Buckle up, ladies.
And people seem to not want to accept that that's the reality of it.
Yeah, they don't want to admit what they did, that it's wrong to, and that it just proves I'm sorry, I know I hate politics. No. I hate talking about it because it's exhausting. But I'm going to say this real quick, that there's a war on women, and they don't trust us because they think that we're too stupid to make our own decisions.
Yeah, and I think that being sexually liberated threatens them for some reason.
Well, it's that, and the fact that we're smart and we're coming up and we have our own jobs, our own businesses, we're running shit, and it scares them. It's the old ways versus the new ways. Like, who gives a shit? As long as shit's getting done properly, who cares who's running it?
You have this really great way of putting things in perspective. It really is that simple.
I know. I translate like a 5-year-old kid.
It's like, I don't mean it like that. I mean that.
No, but I'm saying simple. That's what I mean
like
by simple.
It is that.
Yeah.
It's nothing more. We overthink it. Well, maybe it's this. Maybe.
No, we spend so much time overthinking that shit gets through.
Yeah.
Crazy shit gets passed.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy shit happens to people. And it's like, stop overthinking, because people don't like to look at reality. People don't like to see what's in front of them. That's why conspiracy theorists exist. Because when you don't understand how things work, or don't know how things work, period, mm-hmm. whether you understand it or not, whether you could understand it is irrelevant. Whether how you don't know how things work, or you don't understand how it works, or you just don't want to know and you just want to create a narrative that makes you happy.
Magical thinking.
It's all that. And
aliens are real though, Christy. Okay, aliens are real.
Well, according to this new administration, so are illegal aliens. Sorry, was that too rough? Sorry, people. I love you. I love everybody. Come on now.
There'll be no more illegal aliens. They're gonna build a wall and deport everybody.
Perfect. Well, it's great. There'll be 8 of us left in this country.
At least rent will go down. I don't know what.
No, because
there'll be no good food.
Well, lettuce is going to be $45 a head now.
Great.
Because Chad's picking it.
I'm getting back to OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'm getting back to only salads. Just salads. I'm going to charge $1 million for a salad. You want a head of lettuce? You want to see my head of lettuce? I'm sorry.
It could be a mukbang. Mukbang videos where people just eat online. You know this? People get paid to just eat.
Those fat people that eat?
Yeah, people pay them as a fetish to watch them eat.
Oh, it's so gross.
So there's somebody out there for everybody.
Like I always say, there's a lid for every pot. And if whatever gets you off, do it. You know, because it's none of my business what you do in your house. Just like it's none of their business what I do in my house. And in my house, we podcast. That's sad, isn't it?
It's not that sad. I want to tell you my rape joke.
We'll be right back. We're canceled. Thank you. This is not getting aired.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Okay. All right. Tell me your rape joke.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay.
So this is, ladies and gentlemen, Lauryn Petrie.
Hi! I don't open with this. Okay. This is like at the end.
This is our closer, people.
It's one of them, actually. If it's going well, I have closed with this. I preface it that I've been homeless. You've learned that. Like, so I went home to shower once, and my mom looked at me, and she's from South Africa, so nothing she says is important. And she says,
boom.
well, with all the heroin you've been doing, I'm surprised how fat you are. So I have body image issues. There's a weight I feel hot, and there's a weight I feel safe.
Sure.
They're completely different weights.
Well, that's normal.
Yeah, so I don't...
Women have that
issue
because...
of society.
Yeah.
So I don't diet. I just walk through the Bronx at 4 a.m. And if no one tries to attack me, then I know it's time to diet again. I'm trying to get back to my rape weight.
Sexy. See, I always say, if I go into like if I went into the Bronx and I get whistled at, I got to lose a few pounds. That means my ass is real big. And if I go back into like the white neighborhoods and I get whistled at, I'm looking thin.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
I've just
when
recently...
Spanish men look at me and I'm like, yeah. When black dudes look at me, I go, I know this ass is fat.
I've only now embraced my ass. Just recently.
Because you're a white girl. You know, you'll learn. I'm an old white girl, so anyone that looks at my ass is, I mean, my boyfriend's Puerto Rican, so, you know, he's an ass man. Thank God, because I don't have shit going on up here, but I got more padding than the New York Giants offensive line right now.
You have a great body.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not trying to hit on you in your bedroom, but...
Damn it! Son of a bitch! And on that note... I love you to death. You're adorable.
You're adorable.
And
Stop.
Oh my God! Stop. Keep going. Stop. Keep going.
I love
Don't
it.
stop. Don't stop.
Yes.
Don't stop.
Yes. More.
No. So I always wrap up the show with 2 questions. And question number 1: Is there a bit a comic has done that made you go, God damn it, that was brilliant. I wish I'd thought of that. And what was it?
Oh, okay. So
I have a million of those, by the way.
It's mostly everything Adrienne Lappalucci ever says.
Oh. Like
a lot of it. But
okay.
She has this bit about it's about Ted Bundy.
Okay.
And how he killed so many. I don't remember how the whole thing goes, but he killed so many white women that he should have been like praised by black leaders for being MLK would have loved him because of all the would have loved Ted Bundy because of all the white women that he's killed. And she does this, it's long and convoluted and crazy and really good and just insane. Oh. And yeah, I know, maybe I'm not articulate and explain that perfectly, but
no, it's just I'm not a fan.
No, okay. Hey, fair. That's fair. Or the one she does about missing kids at Disney World and you think your kid is still missing when people keep posting the pictures 30 years later. Like, if you've seen my kid and they're like, what do you think, he's an adult wandering around Disney World? He's fucking dead. Deal with it, people. And no one laughs, and then she's like, you all have missing kids here?
And then there she is.
Okay, all right.
No, that's great. I don't know any of her stuff because.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I'm not.
Hey man, I don't know. Hey,
good. No, but I love that she's doing really well though, because it's a woman in comedy doing well. So that's what I love about her. That's about it.
Hey man, we all have reasons for not liking things.
Yeah, exactly.
We all have our reasons, and I respect whatever your reasons are. I already can tell.
And I respect that you love her because, she does really well. I mean, she's killing it. So good for her. And I love seeing, even if I don't like you, if you're killing it and you're doing well, I'm all about it.
Sure.
Because it just means that's one more female getting up the food chain.
And making good for comedy.
And making people go, oh, female comics aren't that bad. Oh, they're not scary. Oh, they can say funny and controversial things, or they can push the envelope and make you think. So props to her for that.
Yeah.
But that's it. Anyways, the shade, darling. I am Shady Pines, honey. I am Shady. I am Tom Shady. I am the Shady Bunch. I am
Slim Shady over here.
I am so fat Shady. Anyway. Set question number 2. This is a fun one because we're comics. We go on the road together. We sit in green rooms, try to bust each other up, say stupid shit. And also because I spent many years opening for Paul Mooney, he would end his shows, his closing bits were street jokes, but he would Mooney-ize them. And he would just destroy and murder the fucking place and just bring the house down. So what is your go-to street joke or dad joke or however you want to call it?
My favorite, dumbest street joke is this thing I heard before I was even a comic. It's really dumb. I love it.
I love dumb. Dumb is funnier.
It's really stupid. It's like a little kid asks his dad, like, what's sex like with a woman? He's like, oh, it's this, or what's a vagina look like before you have sex with it? And he's like, it's this beautiful thing. It's like a flower in the morning dew. It's gorgeous. Dad, what's a vagina look like after you have sex with it? Son, have you ever seen a bulldog eat a bowl of mayonnaise?
What a visual.
I love that.
Bulldog eating a bowl of mayonnaise. That's the name of my next album. That's it. Bulldog eating a bowl of mayonnaise. That's your album. That's the name of your album.
Maybe.
The Bulldog eating a bowl of mayonnaise. Yes. Yes.
We can add it to something. Dead bulldog or something.
No, not dead.
No, something about death.
Just bulldog eating a bowl of mayonnaise just says everything.
About me.
Yeah, cream pie.
Who doesn't love a good cream pie? Okay, all right.
Is it a Boston cream pie? It's got an attitude. Hey, over there, put that cack in here, you fucking faggy. Too much? All right.
No,
I'm way too much anyway. My listeners know. So tell everybody where they can find you on the socials and all that fun stuff and anything great coming up.
So my podcast is called Alien Murder Sex. Because of the algorithm, it's Alien Murder SEGES Segs.
Are you serious?
I'm fucking serious. They shadow banned us. We had to do it. I know.
Get a life.
Get a life. Anyway, Alien Murder Sex. It's on, Instagram. It's on everything. We joke about true crime. We have comics on. We talk to them. We review porn at the end, kind of make fun of it, and we talk about aliens a lot. You can find me at the Lauryn Petrie. LAURYN. It's on everything. It's on Twitter like that. It's on
and
Instagram.
It'll be in the description also.
All of it. You can check me out. I got a bunch of videos on YouTube, and I have a website that has all my shows listed. And yeah.
Fantastic. And don't forget to follow us here at Old School New School Comedy Podcast on Instagram at Old School New School Comedy. And you can also follow me as well at Christy Miller Comedy on all the socials. And please like us, leave comments. Tell us your favorite dad or street joke. And subscribe and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And then, last but not least, don't forget to share the show. We love you. See you next week.